Have you ever wanted to duplicate yourself in your business? Well, today's your lucky day. I'm going to show you exactly how to build an AI avatar for your home service business. We're going to talk about the 4 platforms that you can use today. Some of them are even free to create an avatar. We're going to talk about how to train your AI avatar and the 3 ways to implement it in your business. How do I know about this? For the past 6 months, I've been using an AI avatar inside of my business to help with things. And I'm going to walk you through the exact blueprint of how we're going to be building this out for home service businesses in the next year. All right, so how to create an AI avatar for your home service business. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So first, what the heck is an AI avatar? Is it a robot, Phil? No, it's not a robot. An AI avatar think of it as a digital version of you. It's your digital twin. When I was at a home service business, I worked at a $3 million home service business, and every single time the owner would say, if I was the one that was going to answer the call, I would book it every single time. If I was the one that was on the sales call, I would close it every single time. Why? Because the owner wants to duplicate themselves, and I'm sure you do too, and I want to do the same thing. And that is what an AI avatar is. Think about it's a digital version of you. All right. So what are the different platforms? And I'm going to show you real live examples of these, but I just want to go through them real quick. Notebook LM is free. Notebook LM stands for language model. It's a language model that you can train on your business. Delphi, I'm going to walk you through that one. It's a language model you can train on you as well, but it's a little bit more interactive. Synthesia and HeyGen, these are more AI avatar video things that you would think of, and I'm going to show you examples of all of these as well. So the first one I want to show you is Notebook LM, and this is actually by Google, and I'm going to share this. So what I did just for this video, I prepped over here. You can add sources. So you can literally click add, and then you can add your Google Workspace drive. You can add links like your website, your YouTube videos. You can even paste in text or other files. And I just added my most recent videos here, 10 things that quietly kill 7-figure businesses, how to prepare your home service for AI search, and I tried 100 strategies. These 7 playbooks work. Now, I'm going to ask this, how to prepare my business for AI search. So what I did when I uploaded these sources was I'm basically creating a knowledge base, and that knowledge base can be asked questions to, and then it will formulate responses in the chat. So imagine this is like a mini ChatGPT on whatever you upload here. This version is free. If you notice down here, I have 50 free sources that I can put into this for free. Obviously, you could pay for this and do a lot more. But the big thing I want to highlight here is that I just asked it a question, and you can see all the answers. It's pretty in depth. But the thing I want to highlight is this. If you notice, it puts these site of sources on here. And if you click on it, you can actually see the video that it's pulling from. So then let's say, your team member could go here, click on this, and then go and find the source of it. So this is free. You can build for free 50 of these sources and then have this as a knowledge base for your business. There's a bunch of other things you can do over here, but the free version and the premise of this is that this is an AI avatar-esque thing that's a knowledge base on your business. Now, I want to show you the next layer to this, which is a tool that we use. It's called Delphi. So imagine the sources on this tool, which is Delphi. The sources are automatically synced. So what that means is anytime I upload a YouTube video, or anytime that I am on a podcast, or anytime that an SOP gets dropped into a specific folder, it automatically goes into this and trains. So I don't have to manually put sources in, and it automatically trains on this. For this tool, Delphi, I actually had to upload my ID to say that my name is actually Philip Risher. And I had to record a video of my voice, a live video, so they knew that I was uploading things. Because if you imagine the other one that I just showed you, Notebook LM, imagine if you had 50 sources, you could pick anything in the entire world and build a Notebook LM for free, and you have a knowledge base of anything. Delphi is automatically syncing and pulling things in. So they want to make sure that you have authority and it's authentic, that you have the rights to this stuff based off of your voice, based off of your ID, all that. Okay, all that to say, this is Delphi. Basically what this tool allows you to do is to create that knowledge base like what I showed you, and then turn it into an AI avatar. And I have it set up for chat and call. I could also turn on video, which would look like a video of me, which we're going to look at in a second. But basically, if you were to call this, it's going to sound exactly like how I'm saying right now, and it's going to answer whatever question that you want. So imagine if you said, hey, can you help me write a service area page for gutter cleaning in Frederick, Maryland? I already did this before in preparation, but you can see it wrote the title tag, the meta description, the H1, all the stuff. And then boom, 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 cites the sources. So if we go to number 1, you can see it's citing these files from SOPs. It's also citing a video here of probably some results or something, and it's building this out. So imagine you have this in your business. Like, this is really, really cool. And we're going to talk about some operational ways to use this down the line. All right, so far we've talked about Notebook LM, which is a free version, 50 sources. Delphi, which is paid. I think I pay like $100 a month for this. And then Synthesia and HeyGen. So I had Neil Patel on my show. He's probably like the OG SEO guy. And I also had Marcus Sheridan on the show, who is an OG SEO guy for home service businesses. And I asked them specifically about AI avatars and content creation. And we both talked about Synthesia and HeyGen and how to use them in your business and what's coming down the pike, which we're going to be talking about that later on in this video. But I want to show you them right now for what they are. So Synthesia, I'm going to pull this up over here. Synthesia is more of a platform where you would upload SOPs, or if you have a long training doc that you have people read, and it would turn it into like a talking head video like this with words over here. That would be really nice for courses or webinars or something inside of your business, in my opinion. So like, you're an HVAC contractor and you have a standard operating procedure and you onboard people and they need to read this long thing and it's boring. You could have someone that's logoed up, even an AI avatar of you, reading all of this stuff and give it to them, and it's going to be a much more interactive way for them to digest the information. So that's Synthesia. I think there's a lot of other practicalities for this, but in the home service space, they don't really have anything built out except for one other thing I'm going to talk about later. But that's what this is. Now, HeyGen, on the other hand, is much different. HeyGen is, you can actually upload a video, like a 30-second video of you. Well, this is me. And then you can upload a prompt. So you can give it words to say, and then it's going to actually turn it into this, which this is a video. You can't hear it. I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. But this is not me doing any of this. This is actually the AI avatar doing all of these things. So it's really cool because this AI avatar is being created based off of a prompt, and then it's using my mannerisms and how I say things, and it actually sounds like me. So this is something that we're going to talk about of how can you implement this in your business. Very cool tool. This is actually free. They just put a watermark on this, but down the line, I would imagine that a lot of people are going to be having this in their business because you can create a lot of cool content on it. All right, so those are the 4 platforms: Notebook LM, Delphi, Synthesia, HeyGen, and then the example is going to be down in the description. Before we get into how can you implement this in your business, I want to talk about how to train an AI avatar on your business, because you're probably watching this. I know the business owners that I work with, they're like, okay, well, I want to duplicate myself. So what do I need to do to set this stuff up? The biggest issue that a lot of companies are going to run into is that they don't have the content to feed into it. And I'm not saying that, you need to go out and be this big content creator. What I am saying is that if you want to have an AI avatar in the future, then you need to have something to funnel it information. So this is why I've been encouraging people to create content, because it's not just about likes and shares and new customers. That is great. But what it is doing is it's training large language models, AI search on your business, but it's also giving you this backlog of content and all the stories from your brain and putting it down on paper and allowing it to go into a language model to learn about your business. So, okay, Phil, I don't want to create content. Okay, I don't want to do the talking head videos, whatever. Okay, I'm going to give you a very simple way to do this. If you use a call tracking software like CallRail or something else, you have really good calls happening by your CSRs, all these experts over here. And a lot of times it never makes it onto the internet or into any knowledge base. It's just happening over here and it gets refined, in person. What I would recommend is download your calls out, put them into a Google Drive, so that way you have the transcripts, put them into a Google Drive, and now you can upload them in with all of the subject matter expert information directly into some type of a drive. Same thing if you're going on sales calls. Use voice memos, record your stuff, stick it over here into a Google Drive, and now you have at least a starting point to train your AI avatar. If you're listening to this and you're like, okay, that's cool, I do want to do this, you have so many stories, good stories, bad stories, do this, don't do that. I would recommend allocating some time to getting those stories out of your brain and onto a Google Doc, or talk it out into a video and get the transcript. Because as you can see, this is the future, and you need to start planning now, because in the next year, these avatars are going to be live, and I'm going to show you exactly how people are going to be using this in their home service business. All right. So the practical uses for an AI avatar in your business, I broke it down into 3 sections. The first one is internal and training use cases. So this one I would say is people are doing this right now because I'm doing this right now. And the first one is ask the owner portal. Imagine team members can ask, what's Phil's stance on this? So my team members will go to the one that I showed you, Delphi, and they'll say, hey, here's the objection that I got in the sales call. What would Phil say to this? Or here's a question that I got. What would Phil say to this? And it's going to cite the sources and pull the information and give them the answer. Sometimes they even pull it and they say, okay, I got this from Delphi. Let me ask Phil and see how it stacks up with the actual answer that I got. In your business, imagine it will help you scale leadership, alignment, and culture without you repeating yourself 100 times. And even more importantly, when you have a technician that's out on site, salesperson that's out on site, CSR, and you're not there, all of these people would love to have your knowledge base and be able to ask it questions. And you can, like I said, you can do this exactly right now for free using Notebook LM. You can have an Ask the Owner portal that's trained on all of your stuff. Next one is onboarding and SOP coaching. New hires train with the avatar who walks them through real examples, expectations, and company philosophy. This is the thing that I think is the hardest part for owners, is that we have a lot of experience. We have the stories, we have the wins, we have the losses, we have the what to watch out for. And when we talk to customers, when we talk to prospects, when we talk to team members, it's easy for us to just, talk about it because like, this is us, these are the stories that just flow right off the tongue. And for new hires, especially in sales roles, they got to get those stories into their brains and they have to feel the stories. So I think the biggest opportunity from an onboarding and SOP coaching perspective is for the business owner to be able to get all those stories out of their head into something like a Google Drive for a language model, because you have the real examples, you have the expectations of the standard that we hold at this company and the company philosophy of like what we do and how we do it. And especially in the onboarding and SOP coaching process, there's a ton of things that fall through the cracks because you can't be there 100% of the time. And you might have another leader that's coaching someone else or training someone else. And it would be great if they had some portal where they could get the real examples. For example, can you tell me about a time when we installed an HVAC unit and it didn't work? Can you tell me about a time when we went out on a new generator estimate? What's the common objections that they got? Those are things that if I asked you, you would know the answers and you would be able to put it into this. So that way, as someone's onboarding or even building a new SOP, it's right there as an answer. All right. And then the last one is, this is probably one of the coolest ones, is an AI avatar as meeting, proposal, recap, or coach. So let's say your salesperson goes out on a call, they use voice memos, they get their transcript. Then they go back to your AI avatar and say, here's the transcript. Where did I miss the mark on this? And what other stories could I have told to help close this deal? Now you have your knowledge base and it's coaching on your sales calls. You feed the avatar your recorded team meetings or sales calls. It summarizes, highlights themes, and even suggests next steps in your voice. It gives you coaching immediately that happens. And it could be via call, it could be via a chat, and via video with the Delphi tool that I mentioned before. So this is a really cool use case. A lot of people don't use this, and this stuff is free on Notebook LM. So this is the first part, internal and training. I want to talk about customer facing because this is kind of the next layer. I would say in the next 6 months to a year, this is going to be rolled out. And the first one is a website chat bot that sounds like the owner. So right now on your website, you should have a chat widget that turns the chat into a text. That usually converts 3 to 4% of website visitors into leads. If you don't have that, you're behind the 8 ball because that should have been there like 2 years ago. A chat widget turns the question into a text and it secures the lead. Sometimes people come to your website and they have a question. Do you service this area? Do you do this service? They don't want to dig through your website to see if you do it or not. And they want to ask a question immediately. Now, how is this going to play out with an avatar? Let me show you on Synthesia. I want to come back to this because this is a really cool thing that I think is going to be rolling out. So you see this over here? This is where a chat widget would normally be. But imagine now it's an AI avatar of you and it's trained on all your knowledge base. So a customer can ask it any question that they want. And it has schedule your service here, schedule your job here, schedule here. So they could ask it any question interactive, and then they could schedule service. This is basically almost there. It's really almost there. They're releasing this stuff on a weekly basis. I have actually a reminder every single week to go back and look at the new features because they're coming out with so many new ones. But this is pretty much almost there. And imagine having this on your website. Huge opportunity for a lot of business owners to use this. People are going to come to your website. Wow, this is way different. This is so cool. This stands out. That's what you want. The second thing is customer education and pre-service explainers. So imagine you have an AI avatar that you put inside of your customer education and pre-service experience. Someone books a job. They get an email or a text that says, hey, can't wait to get out there to service your unit. By the way, if you have any questions before the job, while we're on site, or after, we actually have an AI avatar that's trained on all of our information and SOPs. You can ask it any question that you want, and it's going to get you an instant answer. That's amazing. And people will be like, wow, this is cool. We're going to talk about AI fatigue and, okay, don't use AI avatars. We'll talk about that later. But right now, this is the future of people getting more comfortable with this stuff. Customer education, same thing. You have people that are on service contracts. It's like, hey, if you have anything that goes on with your house, we have this tool for you, so that way it can help you if you need something. Great opportunity for cross-selling, great opportunity for building knowledge. Hey, I didn't know that you did that. I didn't know that you do this. There's a lot of different use cases on this, but basically you can use it for customer education and inside of your pre-service explainers. All right, now, selfishly for me, we do digital marketing for home service businesses. How can we use this tool from a marketing and creative perspective? And there's 3 ways that we have started using this, and that is going to be even more prevalent coming into the next year. The first one is content ideation. My team does this. What story would Phil tell about customer trust? So we have a topic or theme that we know that we should be creating content on. So go to the avatar that's been trained on all the stories and everything that he's ever said and ask it. It's going to give you content ideas. I think we should talk about this, this, and this when we're talking about this. So for example, are we going to be talking about lead nurture sequences? Okay. What has Phil ever said about lead nurture sequences, and what stories do we have? And it's going to come up with a whole bunch of things from all the podcasts and everything that I've ever said. And then it's going to feed it. And now we have a whole bunch of information on what we should say. Pulls from past posts, videos, or internal docs. For your business, it would be a beautiful thing if you work with a marketing company like us, because you would have this language model, and then we could ask it those questions and get all the information without having to ask you the questions, and then be able to funnel it in. Now, I want to be very, very specific about this. We already do this with your phone calls, and you could do this yourself. This is what we do. We could take your phone calls that are happening on your call tracking software, get the transcripts out. Then when we come up with content ideas, because we come up with the content calendar every single month, we can take those phone calls and get the topic theme, and then we can pull the information from those phone calls, which is the real subject matter experts. So this is already happening, and I'm giving you a framework for your business of like how you could do this, but this is exactly what I'm talking about with content ideation. A lot of times people start with ChatGPT and say, I want to write a blog post about cleaning your gutters in the fall. And then it's ChatGPT regurgitated junk, where they should start with a knowledge base of all the information from their client and say, I want to write a blog post about gutter cleaning in your fall. What should I say? And then it has all your information from all your stuff. Very, very important. A lot of marketing companies do not do this, and they should. All right, ad script and drafting. So I want to run Facebook ads. I want to run Instagram ads. I want to run YouTube ads. I want to run Google ads. I'm sure you've worked with an agency before where they craft your ads and it doesn't sound anything like your business. Well, now it's all solved because they have a knowledge base with exactly how you say things, all the problems and issues that your customers are facing. Pull that in, and now you can get all of your ad and script drafting right out of that as well. Consistent branding, unique voice, all the information. It's a beautiful thing. And then last one is marketing content. And this is probably when people think AI avatars, like when I talk to Marcus Sheridan and Neil Patel, this is like what they were saying, which is this tool right here, HeyGen. Let me pop back over here. So this could be an AI avatar social media post. So I could take a script, plug it into this, and have it make a video like this, and then I could use this on social media content. And this is the end result. Right now, this, if you hear it and you were to look at it, it's choppy. It's not great. I think that in the next year, this is going to be a lot more prevalent. Especially a lot of owners we talk to, they're like, well, I don't want to really be the face of it. I don't want to really have to get on the cameras and talk. I don't like talking about this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Well, now you can actually create an AI avatar of someone and have them say certain things and have it look legit. This is all happening. The main thing with this is that you need to have the content to feed it in. You don't want to have just regurgitated stuff on the front end. And that's the coolest part of the marketing content, is that you could duplicate yourself digitally and create content from there. All right, the next part is how to get the most out of an AI avatar. And this, I think, is the hardest part for people, is because You probably watch this, you're like, this is really cool, but how do I actually make this happen for my business and make sure that it works? So the first thing I would say is train it on your voice, values, and stories. So you want to upload your team meetings, those customer calls that I've been talking about. You want to upload them into a Google Drive or a document to make sure that you have an AI avatar large language model that's trained on your business. Also, you should be creating video content. If you're not, then you're not going to have the stories that are actually documented to funnel into this unless you're doing it separately. So you want to make sure that it's trained on your voice, values, and stories. Next is feed it your best sales and service moments. So in your brain, you have those service calls that you ran that have great stories to them. You have the service calls that are probably not the best, that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy story. You also have the sales moments on the same side, good and bad. Those are the stories you need to get out of your head and onto a document. So that way you have your language model that's trained on these things. The AI learns your decision making, your tone, and your phrasing. And this is one of the most important pieces, is that ChatGPT has no idea about your business. When you say things or do things or phrase it in a certain way, that's how it learns. And that's really what helps things stand apart. So you have to make sure that you're getting this stuff out of your brain and putting it on a document to then train it. And the last thing, this is pretty funny. Imagine you're like a lawyer or a doctor and you're giving someone advice. You got to make sure that you have some boundaries in place. So like with Delphi, for example, we say that if you're not trained on this, just tell the person, hey, we're not trained on this. We're going to reach out to the creator and get back to you on an answer. So don't go out of bounds with what you're going to say. So make sure whatever platform that you pick, that you have some boundaries in place. Like if you don't know about this, then just tell them you don't know about it and that you'll get the answer and get back to them. All right. I hope this was helpful. If you have a comment, drop it below. If you like content like this, be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you want to work with a marketing company that is forward thinking, that's coming up with AI avatars, building language models for their clients, that's what my company does. I'll put a link down below. I'd be happy to talk with you and see if we might be able to add value.